When you want to do a project with BIM system, it is not only the 3D modelizing of the project. You have to follow some lessons carefully from the start. Some subjects are from BIM system itself, which aren't relevant directly with modelizing itself, which we talked about in the BIM pack, but I will explain some of them in here because I want you to learn them thoroughly and be an experienced person. First of all, remember that the primary file that you receive, which is a AutoCAD file, I will emphasize this again. If you're doing your project by yourself and you're an outsource and you have a contract, but if you're an employee in a company, the story is completely different. I will imagine that all of you are an expert who is working as an outsource and project by project. The first thing that you should know is that the file that you receive should be in a disk, and on that disk there should be a stamp of the employer or the company. And the reason why I am explaining this to you is, in the process of the project, if there is any alteration in your project, these alterations would be reworking on it. And also know that there is almost no AutoCAD file without any errors. And that doesn't mean the problem is from your colleagues at all. That just means because the project is in 2D structure and most of the items are copies, inevitably there will be some errors. And this is completely normal. No matter how much hard you try, you can't see some files in 2D CAD or even track them. And maybe one of the reasons that the CAD system got developed and evolved and then BIM system was made and is getting evolved constantly is the same reason. Because before everything was done by hand and the editing speed was so much lower back then. And softwares like CAD came to help the designing, and they doesn't help the execution that much. It's only made for drawing, so some errors are bound to happen and you should count them as unintentional. And I'm explaining this for you to add reworking a part of your contract. Any alteration has an additional price to it. The other point is for scanning these primary files. Never modelize a file that you've just received. Please scan the files carefully. All the errors that could be made in a CAD file, in case of number of the plans, lack of details, you should put the plans on top of another and see if they are matched or not. In some cases the floors are special, that you should put the special boxes on top of each other and see if they match or not. These are the points that we've reached with experience, and instead of reaching these errors in modelizing, which you could avoid with scanning the CAD files, you should do in the beginning, and you could save a lot of time and there will be no rework, because in many cases when you scan in the beginning and give the report file and get the additional file, you're making your own work easier and better.